Some heroes take the time to help the elderly. A mother is changing her baby when she turns for a second to talk to her 3-year-old son. In that short time, the baby starts to move. Luckily, her son noticed and just caught his sister in time. His quick reaction certainly saved a lot of trauma. Here, a motorcyclist fails to notice the bar and is knocked out, falling onto the train tracks. Luckily, someone notices and pulls him out of the way just in time. A motorcyclist spots an elderly man trying to cross the busy dual carriageway. Rather than driving on, he stops and uses himself as a shield against the oncoming traffic, until the old man has successfully reached the other side. A dog has fallen onto the tracks of a busy train station in South America. It tries to jump up to its owner but fails. As the train's arrival time gets nearer, the guard warns people to stay back from the edge. Will no one help him? Luckily, one animal lover quickly jumps down and helps the dog up, just before the train arrives. Would you have put your life at risk to save the dog? Let me know below. This young driver notices an accident on the adjacent road where a car is on fire with some occupants still inside. He doesn't hesitate to cross the carriageway with a fire extinguisher and puts out the fire just before the fire brigade arrives. In St. Petersburg, Russia, a couple are driving along the road and notice an elderly woman stopped by the side. The young woman hops out and helps her climb up the slippery curb. In some countries, drivers just don't respect pedestrian crossings. Luckily, there are still some good people out there. And finally, sometimes, despite great acts of kindness, the damsel in distress just doesn't always want to be saved.
Life is so unpredictable. One day we're saving a poor, helpless animal, and the next, someone's saving our life. Every minute, hundreds of good deeds happen around the world. And today, we're gonna show you the most incredible random acts of kindness ever caught on camera. But before we get started, subscribe and hit the bell. That's an act of kindness that everyone can do. Gamer Dr. Lupo was in the middle of a 24-hour charity stream when he was given a check for $1 million from Twitch. The fundraising goal of $2 million for the Children's Cancer Foundation was immediately surpassed.
This is $1 million from Twitch.
I mean, it looks like now you just have to set a bigger goal next year.
Stop. I very officially say, fuck cancer.
Look at how fast this guy's running after the souvenir ball, only to give it to this little girl right after.
There it is. I was rooting for the girl myself, it's in the end. Yes.
Coco Johnson spent a whole year in the hospital and finally said farewell to sarcoma. So all of her neighbors decided to arrange a welcome home parade for her. This professor was very upset when none of his students turned off their cameras in the last lesson, but suddenly all of them showed up on the screen and he couldn't hold back his tears. Sir stopped this motorcyclist and asked him to catch up with a bus to return a random woman her lost medicine, and the rider took off without a moment's hesitation. This wild lynx got caught in a trap, but it was lucky that this man decided to risk his own life to set it free. Oh look, that poor animal certainly wasn't expecting such kindness from humans. And random passersby lifted the 2.5-ton car just to save her. Fortunately, the woman was not hurt. This Zimbabwean farmer was supposed to throw away fruits that were unsuitable for export, but instead, he gave 3 trailers worth of oranges to hungry elephants and monkeys. This teen found a wallet with $1,500 and decided to return it to the owner. He just left the wallet on the porch without taking a cent. When a fireman pulled a dog from a burning house, the poor little guy could no longer breathe on his own. But these heroes fought for his life until they won.
Johnny, you didn't know you with him and the dog? Please get him out of this area.
It could have been the last for this motorcyclist if he hadn't dodged a blue SUV in time. When the car driver walked towards him, he was ready for anything but this.
Sorry. Very sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping. Thank you for stopping, sir.
Yes.
You have a good Memorial Day.
Sure you're okay?
I'm positive, thank you.
The huge sawfish ended up on the shore and no one dared to help it, except for these two brave guys who weren't afraid of its sharp saw. And this big guy is helping his little bro to get out of the floodwaters. This man went to his favorite barber shop to shave his head due to cancer, so his barber decided to support him in a very touching way. And then everyone who was there at that moment joined him. An incredible example of support. This married couple saw a turtle that had washed ashore. It was entangled in fishing nets and could hardly breathe. The man was barely able to cut the nets and set the animal free, while his wife burst into tears. This old man saw a stray dog dying of thirst directly in front of a water source, so he gave the dog water straight from his hands. As they say, you can tell a lot about a person by how they treat a dog. This man is just a regular school custodian. On his way to the gym to clean up, he wasn't expecting to receive this kind of surprise for National Custodial Workers Day. Look at how little it takes to make a whole bunch of strangers smile. This random Russian guy had no idea how to help this poor deer, but he refused to leave the animal in a crisis and did the impossible.
Вот молодец, красавец. Спасибо, хоть сказал бы.
This woman was trapped during a flood. Her car was quickly sinking in water, so these three men formed a human chain to save her at the last second. This guy had only one dream, to ride a real Lamborghini. And blogger Andy P.A.W.S was able to make that dream come true.
Te rog să nu te sperii de mine. Eu m-am bucurat ca și un copil. Eu așa mă manifest. Și foarte tare, râd foarte mult.
The owner of an expensive car was leaving a parking lot when he saw a poor man struggling to push a cart up a hill. He could have just driven by, but here's what he did. This is what it means to always remain human. This guy's car stalled right in the middle of a tunnel. Suddenly, a motorcyclist came to his aid, and then another. Together, they pushed the car out of the tunnel with their feet without even getting off their bikes. When protesters heard the sound of a siren, they immediately got out of the way so an ambulance could get to a person in need. When this poor girl was extremely emaciated and refused to eat, a veterinarian decided to eat breakfast from identical bowls with her in a cage, and it worked. If only everyone had a heart as big as this man does. This woman saw a stray dog asleep on the cold ground and decided to wrap it up with her scarf to protect it from the rain. This guy's load got scattered all over the road, and he certainly would not have had time to pick it all up by himself. Then, the orange car driver blocked traffic, and random people came to his aid. An old woman didn't have time to cross the road and was frightened when cars began to drive past her. Then, a scooter driver pulled over to make way for her. It only took a minute, but what a good deed.
Hello, everybody. I'm Elsa Ramon in for Suzisa.
Happy New Year. I'm Jeff Vaughn. Our top story tonight, caught on camera, a fiery collision on the 110 freeway leaves a driver trapped in his burning car. And tonight, he's alive thanks to the fast actions of a photojournalist who was in the right place at the right time.
KCAL 9's Crystal Cruz is live in Corona with more from that hero. Crystal.
Hi, Elsa. This photographer lives in the Inland Empire. He's been doing this 20+ years, never seen anything like what you're about to see.
He didn't have a chance. It's one of the most dangerous things that can happen to you is get stalled on the freeway at night.
It's New Year's morning. An SUV stopped in the worst possible place on an LA freeway. Two cars hit the car. A third slams into it, causing a fireball. The driver stuck inside unconscious.
That's when I switched over from cameraman mode to rescue her.
Videographer Austin Racebrook makes a living at catching dramatic scenes just like this one.
The crash I got on tape was very dramatic, but at that point my mind switched to, right, now I've got to go and help.
Racebrook ditched the camera and says he ran to the SUV on the 110 freeway at Gage and knew there was little time to help.
You know, he probably had about 10 seconds at that point before he would have, you know, died of smoke inhalation or burns.
The videographer says he smashed a window and powered through the thick smoke to do what he had to.
He managed to wrench his seatbelt off his shoulder and grab his waist and just wrench him out.
Another videographer captured the driver being pulled away from the car. Talk about cameramen being at the right place at the right time.
I've probably watched it about 30 times, just reliving that moment. It still feels surreal to me. That 2-minute experience for me is going to last the rest of my life.
Wow. Now, according to CHP, the driver taken to a hospital, he is talking and expected to be released from the hospital sometime within the next couple of days. And boy, would we like to hear that story. I'm Crystal Cruz in Corona. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Are you stuck? I saw ya. Let me give you a full little reverse here. Ready? A little bit more. Oh, you're in there. Oh, here, let me go this way then. There you go. Had to lock the hubs. Watch your back there. All right, have a good one.
Ой, не богатся. Лазь пара фотка, видишь, такие вот. Ну, ты тоже сидишь здесь, ничего не помогаешь, бабуля-то бедная.
Ты сам заебал подкатывать, давай возвращайся.
Бери деньги у нее.
Отбирай сумку. Там тебе пенсию.
Сейчас сам
Ренат! Еще бабуля одна.
Ни хрена себе. Так давай остановимся. Может, помощь нужна? Давай. Да. Влево. Может помощь нужна? Надо же людей вытащить. Включи мигалки. Что там, помочь?
Блядь, машина загорелась, Игорь. Я пошел тушить.
история, что все виды спорта, в которые во всем мире начинают вкладываться деньги, то есть они становятся коммерчески интересными и успешными, у нас всегда проблемы. Футбол, есть у нас проблемы, давайте честно, есть. Хоккей, проблемы. Даже биатлон, как только стал финансово интересен, то есть другие страны стали вкладывать туда деньги и понимать, что это инвестиции, то же самое у нас появились проблемы. Просто нам надо изменять свое отношение к этим видам спорта и по-другому относиться. То есть забывать советские времена и начинать следить за тем, как это делают в той же Норвегии, в биатлоне, в тех же коньках.
Guys, if I divide up, I'm gonna try and give him a pepperoni stick, which, as we all know, is pork, and at least my mom and dad don't believe. Yes, victory. I'm all serious. Cat, are you serious? You ever come in my family? Get bored of us. One of the biggest socks right here. Alright. Guys, if I divide up, I'm gonna try and give him a pepperoni stick, which, as we all know, is pork, and at least my mom and dad don't believe. Yes, victory. I'm all serious. Cat, are you serious? You ever come in my family? Get bored of us. One of the biggest socks right here. Alright. Babies. Everybody, he's probably the most low breakdown clip. Oh, back up the manga. Yeah, I know. Snuggles. Okay. Oh. Okay, I thought hey, babies. Oh, gotta give you some more. He never comes up here, so thought I'd catch the moment of opportunity. Might as well make it. Okay, Snuggles, no one wants to see your butt. I really don't think no one wants to see your butt, eh? If I could just move that